priceops.net. They started building the platform, call it a couple months ago. They have three co-founders, husband and wife team own 70% together. The engineer owns 30%, also a lifelong friend. Company is hoping to solve the pricing issue, trying to identify why a solution like this doesn't exist today. They are launching their own pricing plan here, targeting end of June at maybe $1,000 per month, ultimately trying to price their plan against an outcome-based metric, which they're still trying to figure out what that will be. 10 on the waitlist so far, which he's done via cold outreach on LinkedIn. Hey folks, my guest today is Nikhil Latka. He's a dad, entrepreneur, pricing enthusiast, and has been in the pricing discipline for the past 10 years. He loves the impact price can have on business growth and is now building priceops.net, which is an end-to-end pricing solution for SaaS companies. Nikhil, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely.
All right. So yes, give us a description of a customer that uses you today and how they use you.
Yeah, so we are still pre-revenue, but the customers that we are targeting would be anyone who is working on pricing in SaaS companies, right? Mm-hmm. So that could be a pricing manager, product managers, product marketing managers. Like that's the profile or that's the type of people who would be using our product.
Okay, and how much have you spent of your own money so far building an MVP?
Oh, it's not too much that we spent. I got lucky. We found an amazing co-founder. He's been a friend of mine for more than 17 years. So I got him on board. We have not really spent anything outside. It's more of me, just our day-to-day expenses, right? So nothing major expense, but yeah.
Okay, so you have a co-founder and did you split equity 50-50?
Not 50-50 exactly. We actually have three co-founders. So one is my wife as well. She's doing the product and customer success side of it and customer interviews. So it's 35, 35, and 30.
Okay, you and your wife have owned 70% together?
That's right. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So you're hustling, you're being scrappy. I guess help me understand how you discovered this problem, right? Were you working at another company and hated the pricing experience you were running, or how'd you discover this?
Yeah, so I was in pricing for a long time in my life. I was actually in the manufacturing side of it for the majority of my experience or in my career. But what I realized was the impact pricing tools can have on just the whole pricing process and how it can improve it and how it can make our lives that much easy so we can make decisions faster. So during that time, I spoke to a lot of SaaS companies, and I was based in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I was talking to a lot of companies in California, and a lot of what I realized was they were all like trying to understand how to do the price, right? Like how to get the right pricing or what's the process. So majority of the companies I spoke to, especially early to mid-stage startups, they were like looking up pricing processes online, like just trying to Google it and trying to figure out their pricing or maybe even use the competitor pricing as a benchmark. So what I realized was it was a big pain point for companies to figure out their pricing and the price models to use. So that kind of gave me an idea on, okay, I see that companies are struggling with that, and a product in that space would really help companies make that decision faster.
Okay, so how are you going about discovering if you have a real product here? In other words, when do you plan to launch the pricing page, or how big is your waitlist today?
So we have a little bit of waitlist. It's not too large, but what we are doing is
how many people are on the waitlist?
About 10.
Okay.
And most of them were through the customer interviews that we got.
How are you getting them to respond to your emails or your LinkedIn requests? How are you getting their attention?
Just reaching out to individuals, just cold outreach, like really trying to figure out
email or Twitter or LinkedIn.
LinkedIn and email.
And so, what's the LinkedIn? If you're messaging somebody cold on LinkedIn for this product, what do you say? What's the text?
Mainly to get their pain points and the challenges that they're trying to work through today.
No, but Nikhil, if someone emails me on LinkedIn and says, please reply, I want to know your pain points and challenges for my new pricing software, I'm going to say, I don't have time for you, and I'm going to ignore you. What specifically are you putting in the first LinkedIn message to get a response?
That's pretty much it, though. I've been getting decent responses, but what I'm trying to say is like how challenging pricing can be, and what we are trying to build the product, and feedback from industry experts like them would really help, and folks have been really good at responding back to that.
Oh, what's going on there, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Now imagine this. You love watching these interviews with SaaS founders, but imagine if we took all of the valuation data out from over 2,807 interviews I've done manually. Saves you a lot of time. Well, we've done this. We've built it into the beautiful interface inside of FounderPath. Check this out. I'll show you how you can access this in a second, but you log in, you connect your Stripe account, you see your valuation real time. You can see what it changed over the past 88 days and even set goals for valuation this year. Now, the secret to valuation is there's many different ways to value a SaaS business. So the reason you're going to see 3 or 4 different valuations inside of your FounderPath dashboard, this is all free by the way, is because depending on who's doing the buying of your SaaS company, you're going to get a different valuation. A VC is going to pay a different valuation. Private equity firm is different. If you're going to do a minority sale, that's different. And if you sell the whole business, that's a different valuation. You can see all those when I hover over here. Right, so the teal is what a VC would pay, yellow is what private equity, and red is if you sold the whole thing outright. Now, what's cool about this is not built off random data. Again, you guys hear these interviews on YouTube. All these data are built from real-time valuation data points founders share with us on the show. So traction, 1.2 million, seed round, 3.7 raise, they sold 22% of their business. Go in here and filter by the event. Maybe you only want to see companies that have sold the whole business. Well, here are a bunch that have been acquired, the valuation and the multiple. Maybe you're going out right now and you're raising your seed round. Well, go in here and look at all this recent seed deals that went down, what they raised, what valuation they raised at, and what percent that they sold. There's never been a larger data set of SaaS valuations than what you can get now inside of FounderPath, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. All right, we're going to go back to the YouTube video here in a second, but if you want to check this tool out, if you want to jump in and sign up, you can check it out for free to get your valuation at this link, founderpath.com/products/valuations. Or if you go to founderpath.com and hover over products, click on get your valuation here and go ahead and sign up to give it a whirl. Again, all that valuation data live right inside the platform. I hope to see you there. All right, let's jump back into the interview.
Open up your LinkedIn on your computer and read to me a cold message you sent somebody.
Okay.
Is it like one sentence or like 30?
About 15, I'd say.
15 sentences.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's long. I mean, this is are you using
it's
InMail?
Like a paragraph. Yeah, I'm using InMail. Yep.
Okay, read one to me.
So the one I got response to, right? So this person was head of pricing at a company. So they put it on their LinkedIn page that they're working on pricing and packaging. So I said, I see that you're working on pricing and packaging changes. And we are building at PriceOps, you're building an end-to-end pricing solution. I would like to get your feedback on what challenges you're facing and how we can build the best product to solve those problems. And if you have about 30 minutes to spare, would like to get some insights from industry experts like you.
What'd they say back?
They said happy to chat, and they gave a certain time frame that they're free on, and I set up an interview.
Interesting.
So call.
Interesting. And what are some of the key questions you're asking when you get that call set up once you have them live?
So mainly, like, what does their pricing process look like from starting to the ending and to get it live? And what are the pain points? What are the tools they use today? Mostly Excel. And how do they actually validate their pricing? And how can the tools that you're building can help them with all these steps? And like what price models they use? How do they find the optimum pricing and so on?
Okay, talk money to me. When are you going to start charging people?
Probably by the end of June is what we are trying to get to.
And what do you think you're going to start with in terms of a pricing point?
So we are trying to target like maybe early stage companies to begin with. So probably around $1,000 to $5,000 per year is what we are trying to look at. But once we can prove out the concept and actually add more features in the tool, the contract, the ACV can be much larger.
And what are you pricing against? Number of seats, number of SKUs, amount of GMV?
Yeah, it's going to be a flat rate to start with. But I have I'm actually passionate about outcome-based pricing models. So we are actually figuring out how we can charge based on the outcome that we are delivering as well. So that's something that we're still figuring out.
Okay, interesting. All right, very cool. So, okay, you're building, and then who's the engineer? Who's doing all the tech work?
So it's my co-founder Sharath. He's been the front-end developer for our past 12 front-end and back-end developer for past 12 years, and he's the one doing all the work. For building the product.
How did you convince him to work for free in exchange for 30% equity?
I've known him for more than 17 years. I mean, he's one of my closest friends. And what I did, of course, was like pitch the idea to him, and the size of the market as well, right? Like, I think it's a big problem to solve. At least that I still strongly believe that. So that kind of convinced him to get on board.
Who is doing the best job solving this right now? That if you do well, you're going to kill them or replace them.
Probably. I mean, so this is pretty new for most of the companies. Some of the ones probably already there are like maybe Profitable. I think Paddle recently acquired them sometime last year. They are doing some parts of this. But someone who recently started like Ibaka is one of the tools that are solving this. Ibbaka.
Okay.
So they're again pretty new, and they're again trying to solve that problem. And I think Minoa is one other company that's trying to solve this problem as well.
Can you spell that one? Noah?
Minoa. It's Minoa.
Minoa.
Yep.
Interesting. Why aren't there more and larger competitors? I mean, Profitwell was only doing 5 million in annual revenue. I mean, I say only, but they have a massive team. They're only doing 5 million in annual revenue on their churn product, their retention product. Paddle obviously acquired them. Abeka looks new. Minoa looks new. I mean, don't you want to go compete in a space where you know that the prize is, a 10, 50, $100 million ARR SaaS company?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, but I think this problem is definitely something that needs to be solved, right? Like, I think today it's very much consultative and consultant based model. But I think a tool, it won't replace the consultant, but it's going to give the self-serve option for companies that are ready to do it. I think I'm not sure why there have not been companies that are that solve this problem already.
Don't you need to know that answer? I mean, isn't that the best use of your time is to understand why this doesn't exist already? Because you might discover something you don't want to hear, which is there is no market for it.
So that was one of the things that I started off with, right? Like talking to most of the companies. I mean, I was at SaaSter APAC earlier this year too, and talked to a lot of companies there as well. They all think that this tool will help them, right? Like, they all said that this tool will help them, and I've been reaching out to them once.
Well, what are they paying? What are they paying for right now? If they say a tool like this will help them, and then they say, and right now we're paying X to solve it.
So today, it's almost like them, like either the co-founders, or like if it's an early stage startups, it's the co-founders trying to solve the problem themselves, like using Excel, right? Mm-hmm. So there is no tool that they're paying for today. I mean, if you say Excel or Google Sheets, that's what they're paying for. But what they're not sure is their pricing right? Like, do they have the right pricing? Do they have the right pricing model? And to get that, they either have to hire a consultant outside or have the pricing expertise, which could cost anywhere between 50 to 100K, like depending on the consultant that you hire.
Yeah, I just always get nervous when I hear a founder going to attack a space where there is no player, right? I mean, Abeka has 17 employees. Minoa has 3 employees. Paddle, capped out. I mean, there's a reason they sold. Profitwell, capped out at 5 million revenue there. I mean, maybe this isn't the problem that people are willing to pay for. Maybe Excel is the solution.
I mean, again, I believe like we can solve this problem, right? Like, again, that's something that all the customers we talk to, most of the founders we talk to, they said they want it, and they're willing.
Yeah, but they're not paying for it. But they're not paying for it right now. There is. I'm sure other people have tried this, right? No one else. There is no other company that you just gave me the list of that's doing $50 or $100 million of revenue, helping people figure out pricing for their SaaS products.
Yeah, not yet.
But that's what I'm saying is, don't you have to understand why it doesn't exist? In other words, Elon Musk knows the reason nobody else is living on Mars is because the oxygen content level is too low, and the amount, to take 1 pound from Earth to Mars costs X amount of money. He knows the problems to solve. I haven't heard you list the real reasons that a company like this doesn't exist today, and how you're uniquely qualified to break through those items.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. Again, like I said, I still don't understand why there is no one trying to solve this. Again, there are new players in there. If I have to identify, or what I think the answer to that would be is, no one's probably figured out a way to productize the solution, right? Like, it's like I said, it's a consultant based model. Like, each company could be a different. Like, there are different inputs for each company. The price model could be very different for each one. So maybe no one's been able to productize that yet, and that's probably why no one exists.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Have you bootstrapped the company, Jada, or have you raised capital?
No, it's bootstrapped yet as of now. We are looking to raise capital, very, very early stages yet. Again, once we get the product and some proof of traction, that's when we'll go pretty.
How much are you looking to raise?
Fundraising. Probably around $500,000 to $1 million to start with.
And what cap? I assume you're going to use a note. What cap do you think you'll try and get?
So again, like maybe about 5 to 10 million.
So 5 million would be pretty standard. This market, though, you never know. We'll see what happens. On that note, though, Nikhil, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
I mean, there's a couple, but right now it's The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Again, I'm trying to learn from a lot of them, but I think Yami Rangan from HubSpot.
Yeah. Number 4, number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building price ops?
Right now, it's the Atlassian sort of products like Confluence and Jira.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
That's a little less right now, I guess, but maybe around 5 to 6 hours.
Okay. And situation, married, single, kids? We know you're married, but any kids?
Yep, married. Yes, one kid already. He's about 3 years old, and the second one's on the way, actually, in a couple of weeks.
Congrats. That's exciting. How old are you?
Thank you. I'm 36.
36. Last question. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
Oh, wow. So I think what I would say to my 20-year-old self is like to get started on a problem that I think is a problem and get into this entrepreneurial journey earlier. So again, learning the waters early in my career, I'd say.
Guys, there you have it, priceops.net. They started building the platform, call it a couple months ago. They have 3 co-founders, husband and wife team own 70% together. The engineer owns 30%, also a lifelong friend. Company is hoping to solve the pricing issue, trying to identify why a solution like this doesn't exist today. They are launching their own pricing plan here, targeting end of June at maybe $1,000 per month. Ultimately trying to price their plan against an outcome-based metric, which they're still trying to figure out what that will be. 10 on the waitlist so far, which he's done via cold outreach on LinkedIn. Nikhil, thank you for taking us to the top.
All right. Thank you, Nathan.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.